Why was Woody such a rare toy? I hear a completely wrong answer a lot. So today I'm setting the story straight as a legit toy collector.
You have McGann, the fangirl. Make sure you subscribe and check back every week for new fandom videos. So, I have no idea who came up with the idea that Woody was such a rare toy because he was some prototype, but I get told that exact answer so many times that I know it has to be someone else's theory, so I'm sorry, but I'm about to really hardcore debunk that theory. The thing is, whoever said that has obviously never collected toys or comics or anything else in the geekosphere to know what they're talking about. So I wanted to break this down to where everyone can understand why Woody is so rare, because I'm apparently the only one collecting toys here. Let me start by laying out a few examples of how toy collecting works. Forget about what websites are telling you, because they're all liars using prices from unsold Etsy and eBay listings. So no, your Beanie Babies aren't worth a fortune, sorry to tell you. There was even a toy pricing magazine called Toy Fair from back in the late 90s, and even they were well known for making up prices that sellers could never get. The real science of collecting toys is a simple principle of supply and demand, or how many of something exists versus how much someone is willing to pay for it. If there's only one Woody doll and there are a lot of people who want it, the price skyrockets for that one Woody doll because they can't get it anywhere else. And in real life, the things that are the most valuable are the things that no one saw as collectible. For instance, I have enough limited edition Disney Store dolls that I could have bought a brand new car instead. But those dolls are marked as limited edition Disney Store exclusives, so nearly everyone buying these dolls are leaving them in the boxes and displaying them carefully. So even though there were only 1,023 of this D23 exclusive Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible doll set, and they'll never make more, the price is going to inflate slowly because only collectors are paying over $100 for these two dolls, and they're leaving them in the case, except for those blasphemous repainters. Why? Why would you spend all that money to repaint a limited edition doll? Go buy a $10 doll and ruin that! But those few crazy repainters aside, the fact that something is marked as limited or collectible actually makes it less special and less valuable because everyone is keeping them in as mint condition as possible. The same goes for comics. Superman #1 is so valuable not just because it's so old, but because people bought comics to read them and toss them out back in the day. They weren't designed or desired to be kept long term, which means no one was storing them in plastic bags or getting them graded until they realized that comics could be worth a fortune. But because people started seeing comics as an investment, most comics became less valuable as people took better care of them. There's also another factor in toy collecting. Let's say there are two Batman action figures, one has a plastic cape and one has a fabric cape, but otherwise they're identical. Which one do you think would be the most valuable in 30 years? The plastic cape. Why? Because a plastic cape on an action figure would be more flimsy and prone to break, making that supply drastically drop over the years until the owner of a plastic cape Batman could essentially name her price. I had an Archangel action figure growing up, and pretty much the first thing I did was lose the microscopic missiles that fit inside his wings, so someone who did manage to keep that all together is going to have a much more valuable toy than what I ended up with because I played with it. And I think this all goes perfectly in line with why Woody is so rare. Woody was a toy made in 1968 at the latest because Woody's Roundup was canceled after the moon landing in 1969. Mass-produced toys was still a budding industry in the 60s, and no one was buying toys to think about their future resale value. People bought toys for their kids to play with them and drag them out through the mud and carry them until their head fell off. Then they'd toss the toy out in the garbage. And you know what tends to fall apart quickly? A plush toy with a pull string activated voice box. No, seriously, if we look at how Woody was designed, he's a plush doll filled with stuffing and made from fabric. Every time you pull that string, you are pulling at his seams, flattening out his stuffing, and wearing a thin spot in his fabric. Truly, the way Al McWiggin, and yeah, McWiggin is his real last name, this Disney pin told me so, but the way that Al goes over all these different details of Woody are legitimate things that I do when I go to the flea market.
Original hand-painted face. Natural dyed blanket stitched vest. Little rip. Fixable. Oh, if only you had your hand-stitched polyvinyl hat!
And the fact that Al can spew off details about hand stitching and original paint means that Woody is not a prototype and that thousands of him were produced. Which means Al has seen a lot of old Woody dolls in really bad shape over the years. Really, the whole prototype theory is just so strange to me. Woody was the title character of Woody's Roundup, so he was the most produced from the show. He also would have been the most purchased and the most played with. And, like Jennifer Davis says, toys don't last forever. So considering that Woody dolls were made in 1968 or earlier, and Toy Story 2 is set in 1999, duh guys. Woody is so rare because the Sheriff dolls weren't designed to survive long term and didn't make it past the 70s. Woody's only rare because he's basically at antique status, not because he's a prototype. Similarly, Stinky Pete was a side character that wasn't as exciting as Woody's character, so less children wanted him, meaning the demand was low, so fewer Petes were made to keep the supply from overwhelming the demand, meaning it didn't take much effort for Al to find a brand new Prospector in the box because no one wanted that toy in the first place. And while I'm sure Jessie was rare-ish too, Woody's Roundup looked like a show aimed at young boys, and let's be real, girls tend to be a lot nicer with their toys than boys who are generally more rough or blow them up like Sid. So from a collector standpoint, I would say it would be a lot easier to find a Jessie doll than a Woody, and that's coming from someone who went out of their way to collect the female action figures and dolls and such because they were more oddities. I remember finding my Star Trek Guinan in the 90s, and that was like my crowning achievement of my Star Trek collection with her little 3D chessboard. They just didn't make as many girl figures as they did for guys, but you could still find the girls pretty readily because the boys that they were aimed for weren't really buying the girls, if that all makes sense. But overall, come on, let's be serious. There's no scenario in the world where a company is slapping Woody's face on everything they can because it sells, yet they chose not to make a Sheriff Woody doll, just some prototype that Andy's dad would have no business owning as a little kid. The truth is that Andy's dad was a glasses wearer, which automatically implies that he's not very active. By the way, that's a tired film trope, not hate from a fellow four-eyed nerd. So either Andy's dad never opened his Sheriff Woody doll, or he never took him outside because he didn't play outside with his glasses. For realsies, guys, in this situation, the simplest answer is the most sensible one. Woodies are rare because they were played with and destroyed. End of story. It might not be reality, but facties are more fun.
Fan mail, shout out. Fan mail, shout out.
I owe a shout out today to Gabe from, I think it's Murals Inlet, South Carolina, who sent me a fan mail card in person in the mail. And dude, I also collect stickers, have since I was like 4. I have never seen this Walmart sticker, so thank you so much for sending it to me. I am sending you some mail back, and hopefully you'll have that before this video airs. Let me know if you can in the comments if you got it, Gabe. And thank you! And if you'd like to mail me something, I have my P.O. Box address on my main channel page in the About section. I'm not going to put it in the video in case it changes in the future, but it will be in the About section on my channel page on YouTube, so thank you!
Jeez, the only song I haven't done at this point is I Will Go Sailing No More, and I don't really know the words. Let's see. No, it can't be true. I could fly if I wanted to. There are more words in here, but I can't really remember them. And I will go sailing. That's awful. And I will go sailing no more. That is so low for me. And probably all the wrong notes and keys.
Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have 2 other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.